Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a very serious episode for you guys you definitely want to stick around for. Make sure you go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, yesterday, there was a bit of news that was talked about regarding some comments that LeBron James made right before the weekend. I believe it was on Friday. On his show, The Shop on Uninterrupted. I think it's either Uninterrupted or The Shop, one of those, one that has one of those two names. Anyway, during that episode, they were talking about various places that they didn't, that athletes, don't enjoy playing in. And when the question was thrown to LeBron's feet, he basically said the arena that he absolutely hates to play in, he hates to play in Boston because he said that Boston Celtics, or some Boston Celtics, fans are racist, right? That's what he had to say. And he gave some examples why, like, them throwing bottles at him and some of the things that they said. And then, of course, there have been other players in the NBA that have gone out and basically lamented that same issue, right? So he wasn't the first to say it, but he brought a lot of attention to it. And we produced the show around those comments, right? We produced the show around those comments. And basically my macro takeaway from that was basically he brought attention to the matter. And I said, when you have a situation like this, when you bring attention to such an issue like this, one or two things happens. First thing that happens is that it brings awareness to it and people talk about it. And I said the second possible thing that can happen is it brings awareness to it, and then you can use a moment like that when the iron is hot and then try to come up with some solutions, right? Those are my two basic takeaways from that. And that was pretty much it. So, as I predicted over the weekend, when some people said, "Oh no, you're just looking for LeBron topics," I said that they were going to talk about this on Monday, and that is exactly what happened. And yesterday, during a segment on First Take, they broached this very topic. And during that segment, when the question was thrown to Kendrick Perkins, he made a very, very, very interesting observation about LeBron James.
Right. But Molly, Keyshawn, let me ask you a question. Both of y'all, let me ask y'all a question. Don't LeBron James own like a percentage of the Red Sox?
Yeah, he does.
If I'm not mistaken. Okay. So here's my thing, right? And why would you even want to invest or have ownership into an organization that you would consider a city of being racist? That's my question to LeBron James. Like, you own a percentage of the Boston Red Sox.
That's a good question.
So
do you think that's contradictory? Keep going, Perk. Go ahead, Perk. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Perk, finish your thought, and then keep
No, you good. No, because I just want to know. I just want to know because do we overlook the bigger picture when it comes down to actually making money? Like, okay, if we go sit on here on one hand and say that the fans in Boston are racist, but on the other hand, you own a percentage of the Boston Red Sox, I'm kind of confused in that aspect. I'm just a little confused.
I get what you're saying, big buddy, right? Me personally, I would have a problem with that. Regardless, I understand that he's in a business relationship with the ownership group who happens to own a percentage of it. It's just like us having something in the marketplace in our portfolio that may support certain things that we are against, but yet and still our money is invested in that particular company. I get it 100%, Perk. I mean, I don't really know another way to answer it other than me personally wouldn't do it, because that's just how I am. But that's not how everybody is, and you can separate one thing from the other. If you LeBron James, or if you me, or whoever, you can separate it if you choose to. It becomes a little bit contradictory, though.
Perk.
Let me tell you something. Well, first of all, you heard what Kendrick Perkins had to say, right? That LeBron is a part owner in the Red Sox, Boston Red Sox. Let me tell you something. When I heard those comments from Kendrick Perkins, I was absolutely floored. The reason that I was floored was because I was unaware of that fact. I had no idea that he was an investor in the Boston Red Sox. I had no idea whatsoever. And what happened subsequently was we immediately put up a poll on our channel, that's still up, by the way. You can go in there and vote. Just yesterday, less than 24 hours ago, asking our audience if what Kendrick Perkins said about LeBron, him being an investor in the Boston Red Sox, the baseball team, does that make him look hypocritical? That's what I asked the audience, right? And the results came back, and I wasn't surprised, not by the least bit, by the results, because 74% of the voters, of the 8,000 plus people that voted, said that yes, it makes him look hypocritical. However, I was totally disturbed by some of the comments that I was reading for people that were basically trying to cover up for his comments, covering up for that fact. And they were basically trying to intellectualize hypocrisy. And this is the part of the video where I'm going to make some very, very, very strong statements. I heard some people say, I mean, just think about this. Some people said he was talking about Boston Celtics fans. They're different from Red Sox fans. What? What are you being serious right now? Boston Celtics fans, Red Sox fans are Bostonians. Like, you have New Yorkers, right? There's no such thing as Knick fans, Brooklyn Nets fans. You have New Yorkers that are fans of various teams. They're New Yorkers first. So Boston Celtics fans are pretty much the same as Red Sox fans because they're all from Boston. They're Bostonians. That was the first. And when I read that first comment is when I knew that the silliness was beginning. Another comment I read from one of our viewers, or one of the people that commented, they said it's just business. Those are two separate issues. It's just business. Let me give you guys a quick anecdote. Let me give you guys a quick story of what happened yesterday night. I was talking to my wife yesterday. Recently got married, by the way. I was talking to my wife yesterday, and she was watching Netflix. Give you guys, this is a practical application of this particular issue here. She was watching Netflix, and the movie she put on was what is it? It's not what's the movie that where there? It's basically one of these romantic comedies. I think it's what is it? Some movie. I can't remember the name, but basically it was something. It wasn't like Think Like a Man. It was one of these movies where basically, you know, it's like one of these love stories why everybody can't find love or something like that. Anyway, so in the beginning of the movie, she's watching a movie. I'm on my computer, and she calls she's like, Charles, what's this nonsense? I'm like, what is it? She shows me a scene. It's like in the movie, they're talking about various why it's so difficult to find love around the world. And when it came to Africa, because she's Nigerian, they showed a bunch of women outside in front of huts, you know, doing whatever they were doing, making food or whatever it is that they were doing. And they were translating the language that they were using. And they said, yeah, my husband was eaten by a lion. And she was like, can you imagine? This is what they're showing of Africa. This is the reason why. This is what people believe Africa is all about. This is what they're showing. Are you freaking kidding me? And I said to her, so why are you still watching it? That's what I said to her. I said, so why are you still watching it? I said, if it bothers you that much, then turn off the movie. And she's like, no. She's like, I'm like, no, seriously. If you're that insulted by what they did, and you still sit down and watch that movie, something is wrong with you. That's what I told her. That is exactly what I told her. And you know what she did? She changed the movie. Not because I sat there and belabored that point to her. She knew that you cannot complain about something that you find to be disrespectful and in the same instance partake in it. It means you're a hypocrite and nobody will take you seriously. She turned off the movie. So help me understand. How can you say that the Celtics fan base is racist, but at the same time, you invest in that sports community? I don't understand that. And people were actually trying to intellectualize this. One guy gave an example of, well, you know, it's like Chick-fil-A saying this type of thing. Listen, they're racist, but I still eat Chick-fil-A. Does that mean that no, it means that Chick-fil-A, the chicken, is more important than your values. It means that money takes precedent over your values. That's all it means. Nothing else. And for the people that were trying to basically make an excuse for that, you guys are an embarrassment. You guys are an embarrassment. And you'll be the same guys that will turn around. If somebody says something, you'll be the first ones to jump up and start hollering about how racist everybody is. But when you see a moment to walk that walk and walk away from something that is flagrantly disrespectful, you still want to partake in it because you know what? You're not going to let it affect the mighty dollar. And that's what I said. I said those comments make him seem disingenuous. So you're willing to call these people racist, but you're willing to take their racist money? Are you on something? I mean, is this where we live? Is this where we are on this issue? It was an embarrassment. Let me tell you guys what some of you guys were saying. One dude even had the courage to write, "Oh, you there?" You know, this is what they do. This is what these dudes do. This one dude said, "Oh, you hating on a black." Imagine. Some dudes spent so much energy on this issue. My brother, start a business. Figure out ways to get you and your friends and the next man to the next level. What are you talking about? Some of these dudes act like as if they have a monopoly on racism. Nobody cares. We all went through it, brothers. We all went through it. What are you talking about? How do you get to pick and choose he went through it more than me? Who are you to be walking around trying to feel like as if you're the judge of who are you? Who are you? Last time I checked, when I was growing up in the States, I experienced it, brother. What are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about? I was made fun of in junior high to the point where I was even having like, inferiority complex issues about myself. Why am I so dark and all this? Feeling one type of way. I'm taking showers trying to figure out how can I lighten all type of stuff. So spare me with the nonsense. Spare me with it. But I still stood my black you-know-what up every single day and did not allow that to define me. Meanwhile, you got some dudes, not all, some, that their profession, they have a PhD in running around and deciding who's racist, who's not black enough, and who is. And when you see a moment for you to be coherent, you want to make excuses. You know why? Because you're nothing but a fanboy. Period, end of story. That's all. Your love for one particular celebrity is so great that you're willing to throw away your values, but then at the same time, you turn around and try to hold somebody else to that same standard that you yourself don't hold yourself to. That's why I told my wife, I said, you are a hypocrite if you sit down and watch that movie. I can never take you seriously. And she changed it. She couldn't sit around me and then be watching that movie and then complain. If you're not going to complain about it and it's no issue to you, by all means, watch the movie. Watch the movie. But don't you dare complain about it. How can you sit here and say, oh, well, money is different? What? Y'all ain't got no shame. Some of y'all. Where's your self-respect? That means you do business with anybody as long as they're giving you money. Even if they think you're a piece of doo-doo, you still do money with them, do business with them. What does that say about you? And it'll be the same people want to walk around and start telling who's black enough and who's black enough. Bro, please. Bro, please. All of this talking and yapping about who's this, who's that. What are you doing? How many people are you empowering? You have all of this energy to run around and say this and this and this, but what are you doing on a day-to-day basis? What books are you reading? What books? What investment ideas are you working on? What thinking groups are you putting together with you and your friends? Instead, the only profession you have is to sit up there and call this one Uncle Tom and call this one. That's your only profession. It's unbelievable to me. If y'all don't see an issue with that, then something is wrong. It's unbelievable. I was thoroughly embarrassed when I was reading those comments. Thoroughly. And what was even more surprising is that some of it was coming from our subscribers, which is even more alarming. It's unbelievable. Where is your line? You cannot tell me that everything goes just because you are a fan. There's some things more important than celebrity, than a favorite basketball player. It's called your values. Those things should take precedent. Your values, not some damn hooper.